So, Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 228 is here, and this looks like this is going to be the biggest fight when it gets animated. And it looks like Gojo is actually going to lose, and Sukuna will be the one with the W because we are seeing so many things happening right now. Let's just get right into this chapter recap. And if you are a fan of Weekly Shonen Jump manga or anime as a whole, I think you need to subscribe to this channel and get me to 500 subscribers. I'm really close, as you guys can see right now. So, yes, without further ado, let's continue with the recap. So we pick up where we left off last chapter with the tiny barrier, and everyone is kind of shocked that Gojo actually did that. Kusakabe again proclaims that it is impossible, and Meimei says that he has said impossible so many times, and Gojo, he does the things which are impossible very easily. And Maki kind of explains that having a tiny domain is actually possible if you think about it, because we do have other domains which doesn't really matter in the inside. Like sometimes they don't really matter inside the domain, right? Well, she was technically right, but there's also another complication that if there are two people like much larger than the barrier, then they will be folded and it will break every kind of rule. And this is when Choso has an idea on how Gojo learned to do this, and that is the prison realm that he was actually captured in. And it looks like Gojo didn't waste any time there, and he practiced how to kind of control that and use it in his domain expansion. And that's kind of really cool. Kusakabe, again, just like last chapter, says it's unfair on how Gojo easily changes the rules of his domain, and everyone asks that he has said that a few times now. What does that even mean? And he explains that a domain is something that actually has certain rules, and we just learn to control it. But here, Gojo is actually learning to adapt and change the rules itself, which should have been impossible, but he is doing it with such ease that it seems unfair to the other sorcerers because they can't do that. But because of this, both Higurama and Hakari ask really, and Kusakabe explains that they both are actually exceptions because whenever they activate their curse technique, they're also like the domain also expands, so they are not really counted in this. Suddenly, everyone noticed something that Sukuna's entire domain is like literally shrinking, and it's actually going back to the Gojo's domain, and it's becoming smaller. And everyone realizes that Sukuna is actually making his domain smaller so that his curse technique has more effectiveness over the whole Gojo's orb Sukuna thing. Even the angel knows that this move made by Sukuna is bad, because if this plan works, then Gojo is in a stalemate, and that's when Kusakabe declares that if that happens, Gojo is going to lose, and everyone in here will lose, which is possibly the end game I think will happen until Yuji steps up and becomes the protagonist himself. Everyone stare at the TV as we are revealed that Gojo's domain break, and Sukuna is standing, and Gojo is also in front of him with his domain gone. That's when we see Malevolent Shrine, the Sukuna's domain is all falling apart just like Gojo's did. Of course, an injured Megumi slash Sukuna is giving off an evil smile with this incredible artwork. And it seems that Sukuna's plan worked, and making his domain smaller actually, kind of deleted Gojo's little domain, but doing so made him so injured that he can't keep up his own domain, so even Malevolent Shrine is gone. So Kusakabe asks how much seconds they had their domains on, and it seems it's 3 minutes something. And I'm kind of perplexed that Meimei actually counted or kept the time. This is when everyone knows that something is going to happen wrongly, because now both of them can't use the curse technique, except Gojo can use reverse curse technique to gain his technique. But here's what the angel states. It seems that Sukuna kind of made Kenjaku teach him how to, change himself into cursed objects, which is just sort of impossible. And Kenjaku taught him that, and somehow, just by seeing it once, Sukuna learned how to turn himself into a cursed object, which he now does frequently, which is kind of impossible. So, if he sees a cursed technique or something such as Gojo's reverse curse technique, he can definitely replicate it. as the fist fight between Gojo and Sukuna, which I'm pretty sure will be amazing when it's animated, is continuing, we see that Gojo is still wondering and why Sukuna is not using any other curse technique other than the one that is granted by his own domain, because he can literally use the one that can come out from Fushiguro's curse technique and domain expansion, and we don't know how why he isn't using Maharoga. And just when he's about to be finished, just when he's about to finish talking, that's when he realizes something really bad is about to happen right now. This is when the evil menacing Sukuna brings out, I guess, Maharoga. I guess that is what it is, because it's been so many days since I read those chapters with Fushiguro Megumi, unlocking things. And I'm not really breakdown guy. I think this is what it is. And Gojo is like annoyed by this. He knows that there is no chance to win probably. But I know Gojo, he's going to come up with something eventually and is going to keep the fight as long as possible. I've said it in my previous video, I'm gonna say it again. I don't think Gojo is going to win this. I think Sukuna will be the eventual person who will win. And I think Gojo is going to lose in such a way that he's going to die, literally. This guy who's been entirely powerful for these many years is going to die. And this is when Itadori Yuji will show that why he is the protagonist of this series, and he will eventually defeat Sukuna and Megumi, both of them dying at his hands. I guess that's kind of something that we need some kind of character development for Itadori Yuji more than this. So that was all for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, because I'll be breaking down many more manga. This is kind of my format for now, which is the longer videos being about manga on weekly basis, and the shorts are actually going to be about the anime and also explaining a few chapters of One Piece. So if you don't want to miss out on that, subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video. Till then, sayonara guys, China.